back in recent games, of course, but a move out to number 6 wouldn't surprise at all. And now let's take a closer look at the semi-finalists today with Donal O'Grady. Starting Donal with Tipperary's number 1, and that of course is Brendan Cummins.
Well, what can we say about Brendan Cummins? You know, fantastic year this year, massive puck out, and he's playing with great confidence.
What do you think of his full back line?
Well, Paul Curtin, I suppose, is reckoned as one of the best full-backs in Ireland at the moment. Conor Bryan very pacey, and Yaman Buckley very steady. So they're pleased with their full-back line, the way they've been playing all the year.
And no change at the half-back line as well?
Well, this is probably their strongest line. You know, Conor O'Mahony playing very, very well in centre-back. Eamon Cochran very experienced. And Shane Maher does his business nice and quietly, but is very tall and very strong.
Now it's Woodlock and McGrath in midfield.
Both very good workers. Shane McGrath, I suppose, takes the limelight because he's more of a scorer, but they're very, very athletic and they're very competitive.
I've mentioned in the half-forward line they're selecting Hugh Maloney there at number 11.
Well, that's the big talking point in that Hugh Maloney comes in as centre forward. Was being looked at early in the year as the centre forward that they wanted, but he hasn't done too much game time, and you know, that's going to be a problem for them. But both very, very good hurlers in that line, and they'll be expecting good scores from there.
And finally, their full forward line.
Well, you know, it's all about getting the ball in here to Owen Kelly on the right and Lark Corbett, who may line out at full. Seamus Butler, good scores if they get the space, and you know, they'll do damage if they get space, as I said, and good supply.
Now their opponents today from Waterford, Clinton Hennessy is in goal, the man from Ardmore.
Well, Ardmore more of a football area really, but 3 players there today from Ardmore, and you know, he has made that position his own. He's playing very well for the last 3 or 4 years.
The full back line still features Ken McGrath. Whether he's there or not, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, that's the big question really, Ger, and you know, this has been their Achilles heel over the times when they've lost championship matches to the full back line, they've let them down, so whoever plays that, they'll be looking for a good tight game from them.
In the half back line, if there is a change to full back, I think Declan Prendergast will probably go back.
Declan Prendergast probably go back. Tony Brown could play on the right, and then Ken McGrath will come out to the back. Kevin Moran coming in as well. You know, this is an untried half line and a bit experimental.
Waterford probably looking for an improved performance from Michael Brick Walsh in particular in midfield.
Yeah, there's no doubt about his ability. You know, great competitor, but his form hasn't been outstanding this year. And Jamie Nagle, more of a link player, and played very well against Offaly. Didn't do so well against Wexford, so question marks there.
What about the half forward line, Donald?
Well, you know, when you look at Dan Shannon, Seamus Prendergast, and Malumphey was a great worker. They have an ideal balance, and if they hit things right, you know, they can be very, very good, and they'll be looking for a good return from them. And
talk about good returns, well, there are plenty of scores in that inside forward line.
Well, at number 15, John Milan is playing excellently this year, and Owen Kelly has been their main scorer. McGrath has added to his scoring potential and a great worker. So, you know, from 10 to 15 is the main point of their team, really.
Thanks indeed, Donald. About 10 minutes to go now for the semi-final, Tipperary against Waterford. Back to Michael.
And as you can see yourself in the pictures of the pitch down there, it's nice to have a fine day here in Croke Park for this game. Not a breath of wind out there. Further in-depth consideration then of the two teams right now with their panellists here in studio. First, we're going to get Sarah Farrell's thoughts on Tipperary in particular. Donal O'Grady was talking about there. The half-back line. Yeah, like if Waterford were going to win today, they'd have to break down this half-back line of Cochran, Conor O'Mahony and Shane Maher. These guys are good. Now Cochran is around a long time. Always wears the yellow helmet. Easy enough to pick him out. Plays number 5. He's great at reading the game. Conor O'Mahony is a good sweeper, and Shane Maher does his bit of work. Now watch this here, like. This is Conor O'Mahony picking up nice and steady back on his left, and he has even Cochran if he wants to pass him. He'll do all the sweeping. Again, you're going to see another high ball coming down. If Waterford, they have to get on top here. Watch O'Mahony here now. This is Cochran going right underneath it. O'Mahony is sweeping in behind the wing back. Ball is going to break back, and here's O'Mahony right onto it again. Now that's not to say that Cochran's going to lose every ball, but like he knows how to hurl. Here again now they're going to swamp out the Cork forwards again. This is little flick out here and away by Shane Maher up to John O'Brien. Like.
Waterford to face Kilkenny in September. It's the 39th championship meeting of Tipperary and Waterford. Tipperary with 29 wins so far, Waterford with 9. It's Tipperary who won the toss. The match will be refereed by Diarmuid Kerwin, who was the All-Ireland final referee in 2007. Munster final referee this year down in Limerick, with Tipperary beat Clare, and already tempers raised somewhat. It's time for the action. Second All-Ireland hurling semi-final about to begin. Everybody anxious for the ball to be thrown in, and away we go. And straight away it's Shane McGrath from Ballynahinch, not making much headway there. Tony Brown trying to get the ball away. Stephen Malumphey in there as well in the thick of all of that. They try to get it out. Shane McGrath still on his hands and knees. Malumphey scooping it out only as far as James Woodlock. Trying to make some headway with Hugh Maloney there as well. Stymied. Aidan Carney trying to get the ball away, and so too is Tony Brown. And eventually whipped out of danger there by Owen Murphy of Waterford. Little or no breeze around. Eamon Corcoran going back, the right half. Little push it seemed there from Kevin Moran, got away with it. Michael Brick-Walsh, the Waterford captain, outside here as far as Malumphey once again. He's been busy so far. In as far as Owen McGrath. McGrath, it'll be interesting to see exactly where he plays this afternoon. Has played as a third midfielder, also a very, very astute corner forward, being marked by Conor O'Brien.
Well, Gerard, the interesting thing straight away is that Ken McGrath has come out to play centre-back, and Declan Prendergast has come back full. And I've also noticed that Steve Malumphey is playing very, very deep, so possibly the tactic is to draw the Waterford players, to draw them out the field and leave maybe Owen Kelly inside on Paul Curtin by himself. And it's almost certain that Owen McGrath will play deep and pull Conor O'Brien around the place.
That's interesting. Well, Owen Kelly, you mentioned him, he's the free taker as well, and he's put this one over the bar for the perfect start for Waterford. Off to a flyer. Well, that'll do the confidence an awful lot of good. Two Owen Kellys, of course, playing in the match. This is the Waterford version. Happy Waterford fans settling into their seats, into the match. Their man Owen Kelly's had a very good season so far. 5 goals and 24 points, and that's just in the last 3 matches. Brendan Cummins, the 33-year-old bank official. Huge one, way down there. Caught well. And it's Ken McGrath who's got across to take it. Now playing at centre half back towards John Milan. Getting out there first ahead of Eamon Buckley. And that one is over the bar. What a good shot. What a good start. Well, that will do his confidence a whole lot of good. And Davy Fitzgerald, his manager, is mighty pleased. You remember the semi-final last year when John Milan had a very unhappy afternoon against Limerick? Well, they're fired up, ready to go. Once again, it's Waterford who settled the task better. Malumphey, as Donald O'Grady is saying, playing deep all the way in towards Kelly, in there as well. Owen McGrath, plenty of problems for the tip full back line to deal with. Should be the goalkeepers and is, and Brendan Cummins steadies himself and drives it a good 70 metres way down the field. Ken McGrath was pulling on it, but the referee's going to go back into the goalmouth area here where Dan Shannon has broke. It's not Dan, it's Ken McGrath's hurl was broken there.
Well, the referee picked something up there. Conor O'Brien maybe holding somebody there when the ball went into Brendan Cummins, and soft free now for Waterford right in front of the 21.
And the yellow card is shown to Conor O'Brien. Conor from Éire Óg Anacarty in his first championship season. Young Garda, known to his pals as Foxy. So a nervous start by Liam Sheedy's team.
Yeah, and I was noticing before the match during the warm-up there, Cian O'Neill, the trainer, does a little drill with them, and they didn't look as sharp, Tipperary, as they did in the Munster final, I must say.
Donald, would he consider going for a goal at this early stage? They're 2 points up already.
Well, I'd stick it over the bar, if I answer to him.
Well, he has. 3 points for Waterford, 2 of them from Owen Kelly, both of them coming from frees. Not half bad. Good 4 minutes work by the men from the Daysha. Brendan Cummins, who was absolutely outstanding in the Munster final. He's been busy so far. Cross towards the far side of the field there, where it's picked up here by Jamie Nagle. One-handedly lost it. John O'Brien trying to make some headway. Nagle getting back in again, sticking to his task, losing his stick. Released inside towards Ken McGrath. McGrath driving it back down towards his brother Owen. Owen trying to break it to himself there. Going back is Conor O'Mahony, the centre half back for Tipperary, well blocked down. That was good work by Owen Kelly, and they are absolutely pumped up.
Well, that's always the problem when you haven't played for a few weeks, Gerard. The first 20 minutes or so, it'll take a time to get the pace of the game, but Waterford are well up for this one, you can see that.
Well, it's happened before to Tipperary, playing Waterford, taking a while to get into their stride. Here's Shane Maher. Straight to Seamus Prendergast. Back out here he comes again towards Michael Brick-Walsh. Back into Prendergast, looking for a big performance from him. He's lost the stick, looking for John Milan, finding Eamon Corcoran instead, and Milan goes in, causes problems, supported here by Malumphey, coming onto it perfectly and driving it over the bar. What a good start by Waterford. 4 points to nil. They are leading the match after 5.5 minutes of play. Well, this was good hustling on the part of Waterford. Good blocking down that time by John Milan, and coming in the end to take it was Stephen Mullumphy.
Yeah, but you're not when you would have expected him and Cork to show a bit more composure, maybe pop it back to the centre back. He hit that ball under pressure, and Waterford are very, very quickly into tackle.
Maybe there is a lack of composure by a rattled Tipperary side in the opening 5 minutes. 4 chances for Waterford, 4 scores produced so far. Tip looking for something to settle them down, and Seamus Callanan's first touch wasn't a good one. And they are unnerved by all of this, Tipperary, the Munster champions. Waterford have been waiting for their opportunity to come. 2 counties who met twice in 2006, Tip winning in Munster by 8 points, and then Waterford getting the revenge in the All-Ireland quarter-final here by 3 points. Last time they had met in Croke Park. This will be taken by Owen Murphy, playing today in his 32nd championship match. What a catch that by Milan! He's flying, taking off after him is Eamon Buckley. Can he catch him? No, he can't. Milan striking and Milan scoring off the stick of Brendan Cummins, and Milan has got a second point. A little jump for joy by John Milan of the De La Salle club in Waterford City. This was a beautiful take, running off there, and I don't think Usain Bolt, the man who won the 100 metres in Beijing, could have caught him. Brilliant. And there's problems here for Conor O'Mahony now. It's Conor O'Brien, the other Conor, who requires the attention. And out to attend to him immediately there, the physio, who was John Casey.
Well, the problem for Tip at the moment is that John Milan has far more pace than Eamon Buckley. In fact, the Conor O'Brien, the other Tip cornerback, is a pacier player, but the way Waterford have set themselves up, they're well out into the 45-metre line, as I said earlier. Owen Kelly's playing inside, and once their half-back line midfield get the ball, then they can play it into space, and from the word go, John Milan is demonstrating that he's well on fire today.
There's the determined face. Brendan Cummins puck out. Now it's turn of the Tipperary forwards to get going, to put a bit of pressure on the Waterford backs if they can. Tony Brown way down, and it's Owen McGrath who's after it. In the clear here. Conor O'Brien was left for dead, and it's Owen McGrath who drives this one, and he puts it over the bar. What a score! 6 points to no score. What a catch this was. Absolutely terrific play. And then into the clear here came Owen McGrath. Conor O'Brien giving him far too much space. It was swaying in the breeze, and there is a little wind around, but it went nicely over the bar. Free for Tipperary at the other end. And the referee busy and telling everybody to calm down a little bit. Diarmuid Kerwin, originally from Ballyskinnack in County Offaly, now resident in Ovens in County Cork. And that looks to be Owen McGrath, who is down, injured, far side of the field from us here, having scored his wonder point. Well, it's the turn of Tipperary and Owen Kelly to try and profit by the mistake at the other end, the foul, which could give Tipperary their first point after 9 minutes. That's over the bar. That's one they needed. Easy enough one for the man from Mullinahone, and he has to exert a huge influence in this tie, you would feel. Very talented player, has been for years. Clinton Hennessy with the puck out. Broken down again by Mullumphy. Going across here to try and take it is Conor O'Brien, trying to settle into his task, well aware of the danger that Owen McGrath presents. And the referee again says, collapsing onto the Waterford player, so it's going to be Waterford's possession.
Well, everything is going Waterford's way there. Even that last point by Owen McGrath, I don't think he hardly looked at the post. He just hit it over his shoulder and it went over. And you know, when you have days like this,
it's a hit and hope one.
Well, it went to the right place.
Sure,
but you know, when your luck is in, your luck is in. But a very difficult free for Owen Kelly now. You know, to start off, he got a first one straight in front of the goal. This is difficult, and this will be a great score if he gets it.
He's going short, wisely in as far as Dan Milan. But Dan Shanahan rather. Back once again it comes towards Owen Kelly, and Kelly lets fly, but it goes wide on this occasion, and that is just their first wide Well, he was very sensibly using his head that time, realising the angle was an impossible one, linking up with Dan Shanahan. Cummins pucking it out, targeting Seamus Callanan this time at right half forward from the puck out. Owen Kelly trying to get there. Going across is Malumphey once again, and the deep role that he's been asked to play is being very effective so far. This breaks back towards Conor O'Mahony, the centre half back with Tipperary. Hooked that time by Seamus Prendergast. Comes out as far as Shane Marr. Angling this one across here. Dropped there by Kevin Moran, one of the youngsters in the Waterford team. Kelly after it once again. 2 against him. Clever play. Really clever play. Nicely in as far as Seamus Butler. Trying to steal a march. Little hand pass forward. Intended for Hugh Maloney. Not a good idea. Breaks down. Comes out to Owen Murphy, the cornerback for Waterford. And a good clearance out to the middle of the park. One-handed back by John O'Brien once again, but only into the path of Seamus Prendergast. Prendergast high, long, down the field. All the way as far as Owen Kelly. And Kelly having a go. And into the goalkeeper's hands this time. Brendan Cummins having time. The long puck champion. Huge one, all the way to the 20-metre line at the other end of the field. Broken out there by Ken McGrath. Quite a match, quite a start here. 6-1. Great start by Waterford, and the referee is going to throw the ball in. A lot of pace, a lot of tempo to this match. That's Hugh Maloney there from Nina Era Og picking himself off the ground, right-hand side of the picture.
Well, there's definitely problems for Tipperary in their backline in that they followed the Waterford players right down into the middle of the field, and you know, their full backline has been exposed a little bit by that space.
Jamie Nagle getting it away there after the ball had been stolen from Hugh Maloney. The questions were being asked about Waterford's backline. Now they're being asked about Tipperary's backline. In once again there towards Dan Shanahan, who had moved in. Moving in as well to take it is Shane Marr. Marr trying to come away here into the centre of the park. James Woodlock trying to take it from him. It's Marr, and there was a stroke there which the referee didn't like, a foul blows. Seamus Prendergast going across to have words with our match official, who is Diarmuid Kerwin. His linesmen today, John Sexton and David O'Donovan from Dublin. And the referee pointing to where the free is going to be taken, as there is some attention there for Shane McGrath.
Well, that's hot point, you know,
John Hayes,
character for John Hayes, or hot point as he's known, giving him an extra little bit of Vaseline or something there, because definitely does sweat when he going into his eyes, I'd say.
Referee now telling Conor O'Mahony, get on with it. And Conor O'Mahony lets fly, and that is his first ever point in Championship hurling. It is Tipperary's second of the day, and there's only 4 between them. So after all of Waterford's dominance so far, they're only a goal and a point ahead of Tipperary. The referee going back down the field once again to have more words with Seamus Prendergast. He's been marked by Conor O'Mahony. Clinton Hennessy with the puck out. Dropped down there by John O'Brien. Prodded forward by Jamie Nagle, but only as far as Conor O'Mahony, beating the attempted block. Held onto with some difficulty there by Michael Brick Walsh. And the referee says you took too many, it was Tony Brown in fact, took too many steps with it, Tony. He was holding on, he was changing his mind, going into the shoulder then, and the referee had blown the whistle.
Well, he only blew when he came back again, Jaron. I can't understand why Tony Brown was dissenting that one, so to speak, because I mean the thing is, he took 8 or 9 steps, and there was no support when he turned, and he was caught by Tipperary. So Tip coming bit by bit back into the game.
This free to be taken by Conor O'Mahony, got that last point for Tipperary. Now will he have a go from here himself? He's going for it, but he's put it to the left and he's put it wide. First wide of the match by Tipperary. Conor O'Mahony, who's had a very, very good season, injured before the Munster final, but he still provided a most outstanding performance that day. Clinton Hennessy, one of 3 Ardmore players playing, waiting for a moment because there's an injury to John Milan. What a terrific start he made. Physio and doctor out there to attend to him. Tom Higgins is the doc, and Peter Kerwin the physio. 2 points so far for him.
Well, Jaron, in general play, there's no point. You know, the Tip half forward line have been ineffective up to now. Waterford have been closing them down fairly easily, but I think Brendan Cummins is launching every puck out down there, and he may have to change that tactic.
Well, he was trying to bypass the half-forward line and trying to get it into the inside forward, but it's a long, long way to go. Here's Shane McGrath. Oh, what a leap in the air. What terrific work. Owen Kelly. Immense. Just watch this again. Big, huge leap in the air and a great take with his left hand. Found as he was doing so. Handy little free in here to ease into the lead.
Well, a lot of the Waterford club might be unhappy with that, Gerard. I didn't see too much wrong with it. I think there's momentum brought into the ground, but there might have been a little small bit of pressure in the back, but a very handy free now for Owen Kelly with a fantastic catch.
He'll take it. So this to make it 6-3. Owen Kelly with 2. Both of his points coming from frees. In fact, all 3 scores for Tipperary so far have come from placed balls. So after Waterford made a blitzkrieg start to the game, Tipperary have come back. That's knocked down by Shane McGrath. He's had a great season so far. Corcoran held off there by Jamie Nagle, comes across towards Seamus Prendergast. In there to help Shane McGrath once again. Quite a pile-up of bodies. Referee allowing it to continue. Shane McGrath coming away with it. Spills out in the end here. Out towards Tony Brown, couldn't take it up. In the end it falls kindly for John Milan. Very near the edge, however. Owen McGrath back in. Shane Maher under it. Back there helping out his full back line. Conor O'Brien trying to take it up onto the stick. Under pressure, severe pressure. Couple of tip men there, and it's Maher who comes out. Maher emerging and Maher clearing it way down the field. That's the sight they wanted to see. Aidan Carney batting it out. Still in play, but the referee has blown his whistle. Spotted a foul at Aidan Carney. Free to Waterford. 6-3. No real goal chances so far. Early stages of the match. Ken McGrath, the experiment of playing him at full back, well and truly terminated. Oh, spills beyond the hands of Seamus Prendergast that time. Here's Owen McGrath. Trying to steal a march once again on the corner back. Angling the shot and putting it beautifully over the bar. That's a second for Owen McGrath. He's playing terrific hurling this year. Really in tip-top form. 7-3.
Well, lovely little pick up here, and he loses Conor O'Brien here, who's one of the tightest backs, and a lovely point from his left hand.
Spills out again towards James Woodlock. Onto his left. Inside towards Seamus Callanan. What a take. The crashing shot then stopped, and the goalkeeper had to prod it away there because he was well aware of where Seamus Butler and Owen Kelly were. Way down to the centre of the field once again. Competing for there, Seamus Prendergast, but taking it back once more. Woodlock into the inside forward line it comes. Stopped there by Ken McGrath. Needing help. Michael Brick Walsh around. Taken again, however, by Hugh Maloney this time. Grounded by Aidan Carney. Free into Tipperary. And once again, from the free, there can be maybe just 3 points between the teams. Well, the referee is now writing away furiously. And we've already had 1 yellow card. And now there is a second yellow card. Well, we assume it's against Aidan Carney, but he seemed to also flash it in the general direction of Tony Brown. But let's just see. We'll try and clarify who exactly got that yellow card. Must have been Aidan Carney, because he's the one who grounded the Tipperary player. Well, it was Tony Brown. Owen Kelly to take this, and Owen Kelly putting it over the bar. Another for Kelly. That's 3 points in the game so far. 7-4 the position. And this is Tony. Oh, there's where Tony Brown incurred the wrath of the referee for that foul on Hugh Maloney.
And certainly no need for it, Ger, because Aidan Carney was tracking him back and could have well have made a tackle, and that's another silly free given away by Waterford. And Tip have scored 3 frees now, and they're back in the game.
Shane McGrath beginning to fire on all cylinders, and he drives this one over the bar. His first point. He's had a great season. Shane McGrath coming up from midfield. First point of the day. and he's made it 7 points to 5. Tip have taken a while to find their feet, but they now have certainly found them. Listen to the Tipperary fans in the crowd, big crowd. Pressure again on the Tip backs, and here comes John Milan. Two terrific forward lines. Milan, oh, he's driven that one outside and wide. The approach was so promising, and he'd got 2 points already. This time failing with the end product, however. And you can see that Eamon Corcoran was chasing after him.
And the thing about it, see, there was hands in the head that Owen Kelly had pulled away across the square, and if he had knocked it across the Waterford, could have a chance of a goal.
This is broken again by Seamus Callanan from the puck up, but only to his man, who is Kevin Moran, to midfield. Seamus Prendergast once again. Conor Mahoney trying to get tight on him, failing to do so. Again they look for the corner of John Milan. Comes back out via the corner back to Eamon Corcoran, and Corcoran drives it a huge distance down the field. Broken down by Owen Kelly, the Tip version. Back out again towards Aidan Carney. Back down to the other cornerback, who is Conor O'Brien. Yellow carded already, had his difficult moments with Owen McGrath in the early stages of the match. Got it forward sufficiently towards Lark Corbett. Here's John O'Brien, leaving it behind. Carney this time, trying to get by Lark Corbett into the centre towards Jamie Nagle for Waterford. Back to Tony Brown. Brown wearing number 6, playing at right half back. All the way back down towards Dan Shanahan. Dan Shanahan advancing. Well, I wasn't quite sure whether he was going to try and use the stick or the boot. It's Maher who takes it in the end, and Dan Shanahan's goal touch just eluding him. The appeals by Owen Kelly to the referee's better senses, but the referee has decided it's going to be a free out. Here it is again.
Well, difficult ball to take there. Brendan Cummins came out very smartly, and the only chance Dan had maybe slipped under his body with his boot, but good defence there by Shane Maher.
The free taker is Brendan Cummins himself. Big, huge one again, dropping about 25 metres out from the Waterford goal. Kevin Moran taking it, and slipping the little hand pass across towards Tony Brown. Big one downfield. Owen Kelly racing after it there with Conor O'Brien. O'Brien slipping to the ground, and the referee says from 50 metres away that there was a push. And again Owen Kelly pleads his innocence.
Yeah, well, he definitely gave him a little nudge in the back there, and I think that's a free for Tipperary. Watch it coming in here now. Yeah, definitely free. Sometimes you get away with those, Gerard, and sometimes you get caught, and if you get away with it, you're free, but referee sharp enough there to pick him up.
The referee bringing the ball forward 13 metres. So Brendan Cummins to take this free. Just looking at the flags, by the way, the breeze is blowing across the field, and it's blowing towards the Hogan stand side, the side we're on. Breaks out again here towards Owen Kelly. Kelly slipping a little hand pass, but a poor one to John O'Brien. He had no chance of getting that, and Jamie Nagle was in quickly. He was pushed free to Waterford. Mistakes at both ends after a very, very bright start, in particular by Waterford, and that's where the push in the back occurred. Owen Kelly the guilty party. Free to be taken by Ken McGrath. Ken much happier, I'm sure, out at centre half back. He'll be hoping to really storm into this match. Huge one down towards Dan Shanahan. Good catch by Dan Shanahan. Trying to make an angle. Well, he did, but he couldn't quite direct the ball over his right shoulder with sufficient direction. And another wide for Waterford, and that's 3. But this was a terrific catch.
Yeah, Dan
Jersey
has gone
pulled,
in full,
by the way, as well.
Well, yes, and Dan has gone in full forward, and they'll be hoping maybe to hit in a few high ones, and one break is all he needs.
Michael Walsh. Conor O'Mahony under this dropping ball, trying to bat it out, succeeds in getting it away. Not too far, however. Waterford busy in the middle of the park with Jamie Nagle there, but he's left that one a good deal short. As far as James Woodlock, back into the forwards again it comes. Owen Murphy coming across here, the man from Shamrocks. Whoa. Dear oh dear. Well worth seeing that again.
Well, I think what happened there, Jerry, was that Lark Corbett was anticipating Aidan Carney to hold the ball and to shoulder him, and he slipped him back very quickly, and I don't think there was any bad intent of injury or anything, but it was just the swiftness of the cornerback moving back, and I think Lark caught him with his shoulder, possibly in the chin.
Well, they're getting very, very animated down on the sideline. Davy Fitzgerald, Peter Queally, one of the selectors, having words with the referee. You can hear them there. And it's a yellow card for Lark Corbett for that. Owen Murphy still lying on the ground. And they're not happy at all with referee Diarmuid Kerwin. And just behind them then this row breaking out. Well, the referee has taken the name of Lark Corbett, but they are still incensed that their man Owen Murphy will struggle to continue in the match. Well, still requiring the attention. Side of the face there, quite a blow. Murphy from Shamrock's club in Knockanore. Missed the championship opener against Clare when he was injured. Let's just have a look at it again here. Watch Lark Corbett approaching. Oof. I know where the target was, but he missed the target, and he missed it by quite a bit.
Yeah, very indisciplined there, Gerard, as he came in. You know, I mean, even at that situation, an experienced player would slow down and try and keep your man on the sideline, and he went for a broke, I think, to knock him out over the line, and Murphy was too quick and got a little shoulder in the face for his troubles. Lark Corbett maybe lucky to escape there, probably.
There it is again. Lark trying to come in, and Murphy was going down, so sometimes when you are going down to try and shoulder a man, you're really doing your best to hit him with the shoulder on the shoulder, but errors do occur. One occurred there. On Murphy's back with the match. Play continues. Back down once again after a 3 or 4 minute delay there. Hugh Maloney back where he played so much of his hurling at half back. Here comes Ken McGrath once again. Waterford will be fired up, leading by 7 points to 5. A lot of nervousness in the Tipperary backline today. Shane McGrath. They're an unbeaten team all season, Tipperary, right from the very beginning of the year, back in January. And here's Aidan Carney, angling this one into the centre towards Seamus Prendergast. Going off on a solo. McGrath's after him. Now realising he's got space, got time, got the latitude to have a go, but he's put it to the left. Wasted opportunity after some very promising work by Seamus Prendergast there. Prendergast well capable of doing the unglamorous, the hard work out in the middle of the park. Quite a while now since we've had a score from either of these teams. Eamon Corcoran ready to take this sideline cut. A bit too far out even for him to have a go at cutting it over the bar. Michael Brick-Walsh told to get back the required distance. So the J.K. Bracken's man here, very experienced campaigner, good one in. And Owen Murphy recovered fully. Good to see. Trying to get away from Owen Kelly, having a support player there to help him out. Out as far as Kevin Moran it comes. Bottled up in the corner. Murphy put under pressure again. Hugh Maloney coming in, but didn't shoulder him as hard as he might. Out as far as Clinton Hennessy. Into the centre, Walsh there. And the referee's pointed the finger at Michael Walsh, and he's showing him the black card. Little ticking for that. So a free awarded.
Yeah, a little bit of holding there, Ger, and as I said earlier, you know, Waterford have to be very, very disciplined after their, you know, they were on fire the first 10 minutes. Now Owen Kelly is well capable of putting this over the bar, and there's only a point between the teams. But the tactic that Waterford had earlier on of moving to the wings and getting low ball, that's gone out of the game a little bit. They've elected to go the wrong way at times when the right half back maybe was coming over the ball. They went across to the other side of the field, putting pressure on him. So, you know, great chance for Owen Kelly to put the minimum between them now.
And you would say go back to the tactics that were working in the opening 5-6 minutes.
Well, I think that unhinged Tipperary dropping Hugh Maloney back a little bit into the centre as well.
That's a fourth for Owen Kelly. 100% return so far from frees. Only one between them, 7 points to 6. Waterford are leading with on the clock just under 5 minutes to go to half time, but we can take it that there will be at least 3 to 4 minutes after that of injury time. That was Tip's first score in 10 minutes, one they needed. Here's McGrath, Shane McGrath, big huge one in towards Lark Corbett. Corbett in, trying to score, stop there by Clinton Hennessy. Good stop by the goalkeeper, using his body well, showing courage and commitment. Out it comes here, let off for Waterford. Nagel getting it out. Little dart around here by Kevin Moran, trying to keep the ball moving into the inside forwards, getting it into the half forwards first of all to Milan, who's moved out. Eamon Corcoran's marking him. Referee blows the whistle, smile on the face of Eamon Corcoran. He concedes the free. This was a chance for Lark Corbett here, but credit Declan Prendergast for going in, making it very hard for him, and the goalkeeper's commitment.
Yeah, well, the problem with Larry is that he dropped it out of his hand, Ger. If he could have kept the ball in the hand, he might have been able to knock it past him, but big problem for Tip now. Shane McGrath looks to have an ankle problem, and he's their premier midfielder, and you know, if there's anything wrong with him, they could be in trouble.
Yeah, he really is having a truly memorable year in the senior championship, his third, clearly his best so far. This is the challenge earlier on here, will be certainly a talking point, and I've seen players sent off for that. Here's Owen Kelly. His side a point up, they've led from the beginning, looking to extend their lead. That is a huge one from Owen Kelly. Waterford's first score in 14 minutes, and it's 8 points to 6. And the two Owen Kellys being the free takers. For the record, they have a combined score of 7 points so far. Milan lets it drop this time, down as far as Paul Curran and Conor O'Mahony. O'Mahony getting the ball away into the middle, breaks nicely for Seamus Callanan, taking off. Will he go for a score from here himself? He does. Great accuracy. First of the day for Seamus Callanan, the 20-year-old who got 1-3 in the Munster final. Taking away here brilliantly, playing like a veteran.
Yeah, and Jerry, he's moved into centre forward for the last minute or two, and you know, I thought he did very well there in the Munster final. Surprised to see him picked in the wing, and obviously they feel he's the man to unhinge Ken McGrath.
Well, it's this old theory about whether or not you put a defensive kind of player on a player like Ken McGrath or Jerry Quinn of Clare in the last match. Remember, Quinn in the second half began to exert a big influence once he moved into number 6.
That's right, but I think Callan has the pace and he has the stamina to play out from around the middle of the field, and that's the last thing a centre back likes.
Kevin Moran will take this.
Sorry, Ger, but if the centre forward gets the ball in midfield, he has the legs to run at him.
True. Nicely taken here. Owen McGrath back down once again towards another Owen Kelly, and this one is inside the right hand post and it's over the bar. First point to come from play for Owen Kelly. He's got 4 so far. Waterford have got 9, and they lead the match by 2 in the 34th minute. Good combined play here from Owen McGrath to Owen Kelly. Not an easy angle. It comes out again to Seamus Callanan, as you heard Donald say, profiting by the move to centre forward, and that underlines that once again. A second in a few moments by Seamus Callanan, one of the top young players this year. Remember, he's still under 21 for Tipperary. Great score, quite a match. 9-8.
A great point there, Ger, and he's the type of player centre backs don't like, because they can get the ball outside. As I said, he has the legs to run at you, and that's the last thing a centre back wants, somebody running from deep, and certainly has been a good move for Tip.
Comes back up into the forwards again. Owen Kelly breaks it down, got there ahead of his man, Owen Murphy. Nice composure, that's beautiful skill. What a point, a 5th for Owen Kelly, his first to come from play, and the teams are level, 9 points apiece. First time they've been 11 since the start of the game, and there are going to be 3 minutes of additional time still left.
Yeah, you can see the fist raised there by Owen Kelly. He's just moved into full forward just a second ago. Owen Murphy, the right cornerback, left cornerback, followed him in there, and you know, that could pay dividends for Tip.
Referee wants one of the officials off the field. Play to continue. So we're into injury time. 2.5 minutes of that left. I tell you, there's a great atmosphere in Croke Park. Absolutely wonderful. It is turning out to be the match we wanted it to be. Clinton Hennessy's puck out into the half-forward line. Catch! Caught again! Get the pass heads right by Dan Shanahan. And in the end, John Mullane is fouled. And he is fired up. It's got to be a free in, and once again Owen Kelly coming out to take it in no particular hurry.
Well, Joe, they're crucial about coming up to half time, and this is a crucial free. You know, and sometimes hitting it from this side of the field as your right-handed hurler, the ball can drift across to the right-hand post and wide, so it's important that he drives this one.
The breeze today is into his face, coming from the far side of the field. He's already had a very good point from play from this angle. We're right behind it, and that is straight as a die. Great score. The two Kellys have 5 points scored so far, but Waterford are edging it 10 points to 9. Brendan Cummins delivering this one towards Hugh Maloney. Failed to take it. It's taken instead by Kevin Moore on the left half back. Oh, and there's a collision immediately behind him there. Seamus Butler fouled by Aidan Carney. Carney's got to be careful. Referee's saying I was using, or the player saying to the referee, using my shoulder, ref.
Well, third man tackle there, Gerard. No need for it. I mean, the things you've just got a point ahead, and now you've handed the advantage back to Tipperary. Good play by Kevin Moore, who's been impressive in the first half, and tapped it into Tony Brown, and you know, you'll be expecting a long clearance and they might get a point. No, simple chance for Owen Kelly here.
Chance to level the match for the second time from the 45-metre line. 30 seconds still to go of injury time, and he duly obliges with his 6th point of the first half. 6 points for Owen Kelly of Tipperary, 5 points for Owen Kelly of Waterford, 10 all.
Yeah, the significant thing, Gerard, is that a lot of the tip points, 6 in all, have come from free, so that just shows you the discipline that Waterford should be, like, they're not applying.
Here comes Shane McGrath. Back into the forwards again. Can Tip possibly take a lead before the break? Owen Kelly impishly taking it away, as elusive as ever, swinging it high, but swinging it to the left of the goal mouth area, and that's Tipperary's second wide. We've played the 3 minutes of injury time, and that is it for the opening half of the GAA Hurling Championship semi-final. Owen McGrath with 2 points from the first half. Owen Kelly with 6 points for Tipperary. 5 of them came from frees, 1 from play. Dan Shanahan had 1 or 2 moments, a goal chance which he failed to take, and at half-time nothing to choose between them after Tipperary made a very, very strong comeback from being 6 points down. It's Tipperary 10, Waterford 10. Michael.
Joe Kenny, thank you very much indeed. Anthony Daly, Cyril Farrell. Pulsating is a word that's often used in terms of sport, but it certainly applies to this for me.
Oh yeah, like Waterford left the stalls very, very fast, racing into a 6-point lead. Got the start in lead, had Tipperary over the shop, but Tipperary started coming back, and Conor Manny centre back, Shane McGrath midfield, and started to find their feet. But it's a great game, so everyone very much up for it. But Waterford, say at half time, were a bit disappointed going in on 11. They're committing kind of stupid frees and letting Tip back into it. You'd have to say that Tip with less chances, like, you know, took their scoring chances well, and it's still anyone's game. But like it's like an oven down there. It's kind of electric.
Geez, it certainly is every bit of that.
Well, we said, Michael, about the intensity last week, and we're certainly right from the start. Before the ball was turned in, the intensity was up, and
to be the case, yes. 10 points apiece then, ready to start the second half. Where Tip were concerned there, 10 points came from 6 frees and 4 from play. The opposite for Waterford, 6 from play, 4 from frees. Waterford know what they need to do. Second half gets underway, and it's Waterford who look to try and make the brighter start. Michael Walsh with Ken McGrath. Now Dan Shanahan playing into the goal at the canal end, way to the right hand side. Early ball in here to cause a little bit of consternation, a bit of a wild pull there by John Mullane, and you could see Conor O'Brien there wasn't one bit pleased with that. Broken hurley, fresh one required. Before all of that, the referee's got to speak to Mullane and telling him just to calm down a little bit. Yellow card. 3 yellow cards now for Waterford players.
Yeah, Ger, he was a bit late there, and you know, his hurley came in contact with the handle of the hurley, which, you know, can be dangerous, but I think he was just a bit late. The ball fell in, and you know, there was a chance there for a while, and then it died, and he was late with the tackle.
Brendan Commons with the free. Big, huge one down there. A couple of the tip forwards will realise that they need to up their performance in the second half. Otherwise, the manager will probably consider making replacements. Comes out to Dan Shanahan. Very deep. Huge one in. Caught superbly by Paul Curran. Terrific full back play. Out to John O'Brien. Hasn't scored so far. Having a go, leaving it in, but putting it away to the right-hand side. Well, Tip will be a little unhappy so far that they haven't had scores from Hugh Maloney, Seamus Butler or John O'Brien. Crowd settling down for the second half. And by the same token, Waterford's half-forward line that started Dan Shanahan, Seamus Prendergast, Malumphey, only 1 point between them, and that from Stephen Malumphey. Here's Seamus Prendergast, man ahead of him, gives it in. McGrath trying to get free, playing it back to Nagel, and the referee saw the foul on Owen McGrath. Tough and physical in the opening couple of minutes of the second half. Free into Waterford, should be an easy chance for them to retake the lead. Referee has been speaking with Conor O'Mahony, and now the yellow card is shown to him, so 3 yellow cards for Tipperary players as well.
Well, Jared, there's a lot of indiscipline on both sides, and a silly free given away there instead of coming out and pressurising Jamie Nagel, young player, and making him shoot under pressure. You know, give away a simple free. Owen Kelly will certainly flake this over the bar now.
5 points so far for Kelly, 4 of them from frees. This 30 metres out. Should be routine, and it is. Waterford go back in front. Remember, they started the first half impressively, 6 points ahead. This was the foul that resulted in Owen Kelly going to ground. Little blow. Well, as Donald O'Grady was saying, that kind of indiscipline needs to be stamped out immediately by both teams. Huge prize for the victor. Kilkenny there already in the battle for the All-Ireland glory of 2008, the Liam McCarthy Cup. This is Hugh Maloney. Nicely inside. Corbett lead it this time, and that has been put wide. It was Seamus Callanan who got there first, and they can't believe it. Still 11 points to 10. Early stages in the second half. And the rain beginning to fall down here once again. A lot of clouds overhead from the very beginning of the match at 3:30. Comes out to Seamus Prendergast from the puck out now, trying to link up with the players inside him. Well blocked down, and who comes out to Shane McGrath, the Ballinhinch player. Way in, nicely taken down. They try to make some headway here. Seamus Butler going to ground. Look at the number of Waterford players around him there. Tony Brown, number 6, coming out with it, linking up with Owen Murphy. Way to the far side. Michael Brick Walsh over there. But so too is the cornerback, Eamon Buckley, racing out of defence, needing a support player. That support player is Eamon Corcoran. Big one in, taken by Ken McGrath in his stride, away from Callanan, away as well from Owen Kelly, and away out of defence, into the middle of the park. Once again, it's Jamie Nagel here, holding on to it. Having a go himself. Well, very ambitious, but ambitious in the extreme, and I'm sure the inside forwards will have said to Jamie, why didn't you give us a chance? In particular, Owen Kelly was waiting for it to come in, a decent low delivery. That's what he needs.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised that they're not trying to feed John Milan. He's on fire, and anytime you get the ball like that running from midfield, it should be short little puck into John Milan and hope that he'll do the rest for you. And the form he's in at the moment, he most certainly will.
There's great potential, Donald, with the 2 corner forwards. Mention the corner forwards. Here's Lar Corbett. Diagonally across here. Comes to Kevin Moran's, had a very solid game. Right up once again towards Jamie Nagel. It's time Michael Brick instead. Here comes Stephen Malumphey. Malumphey having a go from the middle of the park, but he did it in the first half. Unable to repeat the feat on this occasion, and that is Waterford's second one in the second half, and they're 6th in all. Tip goes short with the puck out. There is an injury.
Yeah, I think Eamon Corcoran got a little knock there in that last exchange. He went in on Jamie Nagel, I think, got a little knock.
Oh, yes, he did. The back of the hurley from Michael Brick Walsh.
Well, I think he pushed them, and I think the momentum brought the hurley back, and he came out worse than that one.
Off for attention immediately because he's got blood, and there's going to be a requirement to bring on a blood sub. So the blood sub coming on will be Benny Dunn from Tumivara. Ian Sheedy pacing up and down the line. In fact, it's changed. They've changed and decided that 28 is the man to come in, and that's Paddy Stapleton. That comes out to Shane McGrath there, rapidly inside. Fended off there by Owen Murphy. A lot of strong defending to do. Tipper up for it at the start of this second half. Everybody's up for it. Ken McGrath goes back, takes on the responsibility close to his own end line, fires it forward, skids in the grass here. Shane Mars had a good solid match, getting away from Dan Shanahan, inside towards James Woodlock. Strong, very determined, very committed. Back out to Marr again, having a go himself and putting it over the bar. Great point by Shane Marr. That's his first time ever to score in championship hurling, and what a day to do it. Tying it up here for the third time. McGrath again, but this time Shane McGrath racing forward, laying it off here to Hugh Maloney. Maloney with a chance, having a go, and in the end failing to get in his shot. Clinton Hennessy takes it away. Maloney was closed down, delayed a little bit, maybe not much he could have done with it because of the closeness of the backs. Back out once again via Conor O'Mahony into McGrath, having another go, and that's put over the bar, and Shane McGrath with a second. Cheers all around from the Tipperary fans. Tipperary lead by 12 points to 11. Great score. So Tip turn it around. They were 6 points behind early in the match, and now they lead. Quite a turnaround. And coming into the game, as you can see, is big Mihal Webster.
Well, that's not a surprise because Seamus Butler was largely ineffective, and that means that they'll have a big man out the edge of the square, and Tip can lob in high ball as well as sitting in short ones.
They've got it again, Tipperary. Way down the field. That was Paddy Stapleton, the blood sub, getting it forward. Here to Webster. Fending off Declan Prendergast, trying to link up with Lark Corbett. Might come good yet. It's with Owen Kelly, and that spells danger. A 7th point of the match for Owen Kelly, and Tip lead by 2 points. It's 13 points to 11. Well, they were determined to get a score out of all of this, and Kelly got in there to get it. Now questions being asked of Waterford. Michael Breck-Walsh here, the captain, inside towards Stephen Malumphy. Can't allow a gap to develop. That's cleverly in as far as John Milan, giving him a chance. Milan with the shot, and Milan has put this one over the bar. Great response by Waterford, and a 3rd point of the match for John Milan. Well, it was vital that Waterford got the next score.
And sure, that's what they should be doing all day. Just feed Milan, feed Owen McGrath, feed Owen Kelly, like nice low ones, and they'll do the damage for you instead of hitting long speculative balls from out the field.
And a switch in the Waterford forward line. Dan Shanahan has got into full forward. Owen Kelly has come out to right half forward, where he's been marked by Shane Marr. Meanwhile, Ken McGrath going backwards. Difficult to take it there. Spills away out here. Opportunity for Seamus Callanan, and the referee has blown the whistle. Not allowed any advantage there as Callanan was in on goal, or would have been. It's going to be a free in instead. Tip will be happy enough with that, because this will perfectly suit Owen Kelly.
Well, that's another foul there by Aidan Carney. He's coming back into the team, having been out for a while through injury, and maybe he's suffering a little bit now at the pace of the game. But you know, you don't give away silly frees like that. He was tracking the man. He could have hooked him. He could have put him under pressure. He's giving a certain score probably to Owen Kelly.
Well, he's just back from an appendix operation, and they were worried, I know, about the amount of training that he had done, but he's in the team, and Kelly hits this one flawlessly over the bar. Another for Owen Kelly, and Tipperary back with a 2-point lead once again. Some 10.5 minutes into the second half. Where's the next response to come from? Jamie Nagle now trying to link up with Malumphey. Stepping in there quickly, however, is the busy James Woodlock. Getting the ball out there, away by Hugh Maloney, playing deep. And Hugh Maloney being told by Micheál Webster inside in front of the large square, that is no good at all. Webster was saying, put it into my hand, give us a chance. And Eamon Corcoran is ready to come back in. He'll have a fresh number. Still waiting to return as Seamus Prendergast. The breeze whipping up a little bit. Dangerous ball in towards Dan Shanahan. Caught superbly by Brendan Cummins. Getting away from Shanahan. That's a great piece of goalkeeping by a very experienced man. Ken McGrath now picking it up at centre half back. Nice little release forward to Owen McGrath. Made such a brilliant start to the game. 40 metres out. 3 Tipperary players after him. No link-up play, however. It's Buckley who gets it away for Tipperary. Back to the other corner back was Conor O'Brien. Second time of asking, gets it away out of danger. Way down. Ken McGrath jumping right there with Seamus Callanan. Breaks between them. Breaks then instead to Owen Kelly. Aware that Kevin Moran's immediately after him. Kelly, strongly across the face of goal. Aidan Carney, holding off Lark Orbett's challenge. Outside it comes here towards Tony Brown. Brown getting it a good 65 metres forward there this time. Again, problems for the Tipperary backs to contend with, but they're looking a bit stronger. And even as I say it, there's a challenge there on Conor O'Mahony, but the help comes in via Shane Marr. And then going to ground, Dan Shanahan, and Waterford win the free. Again, that question of discipline.
Well, they should have got a free a bit earlier there because Shane Marr bottled up, actually threw the ball on the ground. Little tactic he picked up maybe from his neighbouring county Kilkenny, who do that a lot when they're bottled up. They just throw the ball as if to play it, and eventually his bottling up meant the free to Owen Kelly, but a difficult chance.
Right, Eamon Corcoran's in. The man has come back out of the game there. You saw Paddy Stapleton. Free to Owen Kelly of Waterford. 6 points so far for him. His team 2 points behind. Needs to keep it on target, and he's done it brilliantly. Expertly taken free. Owen Kelly from Passage in Waterford, and Tipperary are now making another change. John O'Brien is going to go off their team, and Benny Dunn is coming on. I think he was ready to come on earlier on when they had to make the change for Eamon Corcoran because of the blood injury at that stage. So O'Brien is gone. The man of the match in the Munster final in Limerick 5 weeks ago, replaced.
And Woodlock would probably go to left half forward, Benny Dunn playing midfield.
This Ken McGrath. Match there to be won and lost. Beautifully balanced tie. All-Ireland semi-final. Back out into the centre of the park. And that is over the bar. And Michael Brick-Walsh puts his first point over the bar, and the teams are level for the fourth time. It's 14 points for Tipperary, 14 points for Waterford. Look at the brick out there in the middle of the park, putting it over. Back once again from the puck out, dropped there by Aidan Carney, and that's going to be a line ball to Tipperary.
I must say, since half time, Jamie Nagle has come into the game a lot, and he's doing an awful lot of work around the middle. He's been very, very busy, and even though Tip have the upper hand there for the last 5 minutes, good point from him there, and Waterford are trying to contest that area by moving Seamus Prendergast well back for their puck outs as well.
Shane McGrath ready to take this sideline cut. 14 points apiece. Going to the right of the goal this time. Kelly's over there, but so too is Carney for Waterford. Coming across to try and take it is Micheál Webster. Declan Prendergast in there needing help. Owen Murphy with a yellow helmet surrounded by Tipperary players. Gets it out. Shoulders coming in strongly there. Back towards Tony Brown it comes. And Brown knocked out over the end line. Or so it appeared from here, but the referee says play on. The umpire had a look at it. Didn't say he'd carry the ball out. That's Jamie Nagle into the centre of the park. Comes to Shane McGrath, and the Tipperary man punches the air with delight. He's put another one over. A third point for Shane McGrath, the game's most influential midfielder. 15-14. Tip lead. Puck out taken quickly to Seamus Prendergast. All the way down as far as Owen McGrath. So important that he gets more and more into the game in the second half. This time Conor O'Brien is fouled as he's getting the ball away, and it's going to be a free out for Tipperary.
Well, that all started. I think Owen McGrath got there first, but I think it was a little casual. Two hands in a hurley might have been better off when there's a man behind you. Make sure the ball is your hand. He was a bit casual, gave the ball away, and Owen Kelly came in then and fouled Conor O'Brien. And Conor Manning might flip this one up the wing now to Larry Corbett, because it's against the slight breeze, and that would be the best option from there.
There's great pace to the game, great intensity. Conor O'Mahony from Newport, dropping it in there, 13 metres out for the Waterford goal. Breaks back out towards Larry Corbett, little top of the hurley, and that ball goes flying over the bar. It's his first point, highly valuable one. 16 points to 14. Tipperary are leading this All-Ireland semi-final. Great score by Lar Corbett. And Jack Kennedy is coming on for Waterford in place of Seamus Prendergast. That's the first change that David Fitzgerald and his selectors have made so far. Wasn't Seamus Prendergast's day. Will it be Jack Kennedy's? Would it be Waterford's? Not if Shane Mara's his way. Cleverly back down again, but not with the degree of accuracy that he required. Line ball to Waterford.
Yeah, Michael Brick-Walsh has gone to centre forward now, and Steve Malumphey has come out in the middle of the field. But I think Waterford probably erred a little bit. I think that when Dan Shannon was on the wing, I think they did a little bit better, and he's ineffective inside the full forward, and I think they might be better off if they pull him out to the right wing and put Owen Kelly back in full forward again.
Well, the Tipperary mentors, Liam Sheedy, Michael Walsh, Michael Ryan rather, and Damon O'Shea are hatching their own plans. Here's Benny Dunn. Benny away again, having a go himself, and it's going to drop short. That's not the best of efforts. Clinton Hennessy back out. When they fall short like that, they give Waterford an opportunity to build an attack. John Milan is beaten for it by Shane McGrath. He's so determined to try and lead Tipperary into another All-Ireland final against their old rivals and neighbours, Kilkenny. Clinton Hennessy looking to try and set a Waterford challenge up here with Owen Kelly. Fouled as he was hitting that ball away, and the referee should have allowed a free from the 20-metre line, and will be told about it. Play continues. Here's Michael Brick-Walsh now on the 40. Right across there towards Malumphey, who's gone to midfield. Angling the shot this time. Hitting it with care and putting it over the bar. He's got two. Waterford have got another. And it's 16-15. And Owen Kelly is very, very cross, because he was fouled as the ball was being played away. And Waterford should have had a free from 20 metres out had the referee seen it. Davey saw it.
Well, I think what may have happened was that the Tipperary player attempted a hook, and he might have caught him on the elbow.
Here's Malumphey again. Back it comes to Owen Murphy. Marr coming for it there with his colleague, and Marr gets there first ahead of Conor O'Mahony. Driving it back down again. Ken McGrath lets it spill the first time, goes chasing after it himself. Difficult one to take. Lar Corbett back to help out. Coming in to help out here is Benny Dunn. Dunn from midfield, pursued by a couple of Tipperary players. The release of the ball inside, picked up by Owen Murphy. What intensity, what effort, what determination there is in this All-Ireland semi-final. Marr's got one already from play, but this time he puts it away to the right-hand side. 19 minutes are gone in the second half.
And Seamus Callan was standing inside in splendid isolation just to the right of the big rectangle there. Shane Marr had spotted him while it was a certain goal.
Well, Ken McGrath, they need him back up on his feet very, very quick again. Well, just before all of that, this is what happened to Owen Kelly. Yeah, well, he felt it was a foul by James Woodlock. Having looked at it again there, I'm not so sure.
Well, I thought he was just coming in to try and hook him, and that Owen Kelly might have caught his hurley with his elbow, and that can be a sore thing, and then he went down.
Well, the fans are certainly getting their money's worth this afternoon. Rip-roaring contest. 10-all at half-time. 16-15 now. And we've got 15 minutes to go. Running repairs being carried out by Ken McGrath. Ken playing in his 44th championship match. At his very best in the number 6 position. Nobody denies that. Marking Seamus Callan. Puck out coming from his goalkeeper, Clinton Hennessy. They carry it forward again with some determination here by Jack Kennedy. One-handed forward by Dan Shannon. Oh, it's on the goal line, and it's in the back of the net. There is a goal, and inevitably it's Owen Kelly, but the Waterford version of that. 56 minutes are gone in the game, and Owen Kelly of Waterford gets in for another championship goal this season, 6th of the year, 9th in his career. Goalkeeper made a great stop, but it was prodded home by Owen Kelly, and it's now 1-15 to Waterford, 16 points for Tipperary. Now what's the response? Well, Tip have come back already from being 6 behind, and they've got a goal at the other end. What a goal by Seamus Callanan! Only a matter of 60 seconds after the Waterford goal, Seamus Callanan, who scored in Limerick, has scored again, and Tip shoot back into the lead. Poor defending there. Prendergast unable to keep it away from Callanan, who found the back of the net. Tip 1-16, Waterford 1-15.
Well, the stats show, Gerard, that just when one team scored a goal, the other team give away a goal because they lose their concentration a little bit. And I think just Jamie Nagle should have made him kicked it into his hand. He tried to knock it past the Tip forward line, and then Seamus Callan just picked it up and started a nice goal. But Waterford's advantage has gone.
And so too has one of the Tipperary players. I think it's Hugh Maloney who's left, and Pat Kerwick has come on. Quite a pile up there. Well, Waterford would have been given the most massive lift by the goal, and now they're rocked. And now it's Tipperary who've got the bonus on the boost. Conor O'Brien getting it down. Kevin Moran standing there waiting for it. Then the shoulder coming in from behind. Back in by Kevin Moran. It's quite a match inside towards Dan Shannon. He's in the square surely. Free out. 1-16 Tipperary. 1-15 Waterford. Big Dan the man being marked by Eamon Buckley. Dan hasn't scored so far.
No, but a good decision there by the referee. Dan was inside the square. Sometimes you get away with it if the ball comes in a hurley height. But that's maybe the way forward for Waterford. Pepper the Tipperary full back line with high balls.
The entire season for both of these teams is now going to be played in front of our eyes over the next 12 minutes. We're watching, and this one, will it curl? It will! It's an absolutely terrific score by Pat Kerwick. He's just on the field a matter of 2 minutes, and he's put Tipperary 2 points in front. It's 1-17 to 1-15. Up at the other end, here comes the impish Owen McGrath, fleet-footed as ever, back, and the chance has been deflected and it has gone for a 65, and I think that's the first in the match. So the first 65 to Waterford coming up in the 59th minute. Only 2 between them. Anybody's game. Quite a tie. In a month when there is so much sport happening worldwide. And here in Croke Park, and our very own bird's nest, Davy Fitz and Liam Sheedy, the two managers, are battling to get their teams into the 2008 All-Ireland hurling final. And it's anybody's game.
Well, Jared, this is a crucial 65. Owen Kelly, if he's not going to score, to make sure that it doesn't go wide, lob it into the edge of the square or sit over the bar, because they've gone 2 points behind. Crucial that it doesn't go wide. That's all the full back line like, ball sailing over the head wide.
Plenty of pressure on him. Hitting it into the breeze, but hitting it to the right, and it's misdirected. He's got a goal and 7 points, but that's one the Waterford fans wanted to see him put over the bar. But that's still plenty of time.
Big psychological boost for Tip there, right? They'll be delighted with that one.
Tip now trying to mount an attack as Tony Brown breaks it for his colleague Aidan Carney. Back to Owen Murphy. Need to get the ball into the forwards. Jack Kennedy was going for it, so too. And taken forward here with a little bit of difficulty. And that has been put over the bar. Michael Brick Walsh, the scorer this time. Good work by the man from Stradbally, and it's 1-17 to 1-16. It's quite a windy afternoon now at Croke Park. Testing conditions for the players to deal with. Brendan Cummins to puck it out. Straight down the centre. Trying to break it here is Jamie Nagle for Waterford. Going around Callanan. Trying to go around one or two more. Picking out a colleague who's Malumphy, the army man. Away to the right-hand side. Spilled by Owen Kelly. That gives the back a chance. The back being Paul Curran. Kelly still. Well, was he pushed? Well, he's on his hands and knees, and I think the referee in the end might decide just to throw the ball in.
Well, Waterford can count themselves a bit unlucky there, because I felt that Paul Curran actually pushed Owen Kelly in the back, and that it could have been a free. Owen himself is a bit annoyed, and referee.
Well, he's got to remain positive and not become indisciplined. Referee may have missed the call, but it happens. Dan Shanahan in to try and compete for it, but it gets to Brick Walsh instead. Right across towards Jack Kennedy. Substitute. Looking to leave an imprint on this game. And he's put it over the bar. That'll do. Jack Kennedy's point, and the teams are level for the 5th time in a wonderful semi-final, which has 8 minutes still to play out. It was Jack Kennedy isolated for once there, but he took a wonderful angle shot. He's delighted.
He pulled away very well from Eamon Coughlin there, and Brick Walsh picked him out. But this puck out is crucial now. There was 3 tip forwards, 3 the last puck out, and just puck to the Waterford man. Let's see what happens here.
Well, people were saying that this might be the better of the semi-finals in terms of the competition level, and that's the way it's turned out to be. Tony Brown helping him, Ken McGrath back in towards Owen McGrath, his brother, takes it well, gets there ahead of his man, fouled, free in. Waterford can shoot back into the lead again. Free will be about 22 metres out. Bit of shouldering going on at the other end as we're watching this, but that was a fabulous catch there. And the back, Conor O'Brien has been struggling against Owen McGrath when McGrath gets decent possession. Needs to be fed, however.
Yeah, but he was fed beautifully there by his brother Ken. Ken McGrath sometimes just leathers the ball down the field and hopes for the rest, but that time he picked out Owen, who's a will-o'-the-wisp type of player, and he's troubling Conor O'Brien today, one of the best cornerbacks in the game.
Well, Owen Kelly's got 1-7 so far. Owen McGrath's got 2 points, and Milan's got 3. Some return from the inside forward line, and this time it's another over the bar by Owen Kelly. Golan, 8 points for him, and it's 118 to 117. And Tipperary now making another change, and this time it is Pa Burke who's coming on in place of James Woodlock. Quite a game. Really compelling action. Loch Orban, he's got a point already. The defence seemed to freeze for a moment, and he's put the ball wide. Wasted opportunity. He had options.
Well, he took the worst option possible there, Gerard. If he had kept on going and committed Waterford defenders to come out to him, he could have slipped it to maybe Webster or Owen Kelly, but poor wide there.
Puck out towards Jack Kennedy. He is playing out of his skin at this stage. Wants to make a point. So too does Pat Kerwick. Got a point earlier on. Left out of the team, having started the Munster final from his own 65-metre line. Helped by the breeze, giving it a go, but again he's wasted it. And Webster in front of goal is absolutely furious with all of this. Again he's repeating the call, why not give me a chance? This was a terrific catch here just a moment ago, taken by Jack Kennedy. Waterford still leading, 118 to 117. We're in the 65th minute, 5 to go. Coming out of defence with it here is Conor O'Mahony. He's made a lot of ground. Players calling for it in space. This time it's Seamus Callanan. He's got a goal chance. It's a great stop. Comes out to Webster. Oh, he's missed the opportunity. Second time of asking. Deflected away by Declan Prendergast for a 65. That should have been a Tipperary goal. No question of doubt. It was a terrific chance. But they're denied and have to be content with a 65.
Well, when the ball came out to Michael Webster, he did the right thing, because if he had pulled it in, it might have cannoned off the defenders, but it was an absolutely fantastic tackle by Declan Prendergast when Webster was going to shoot, and the chance was lost. A great run through there, and a great time run by Seamus Callanan, who came onto the ball, and he'd cause a few problems if they can get ball like that.
Well, Declan Prendergast, people have been saying for a long, long time, of all the fullbacks they have tried, he's made the most and the best fist of it. There is an injury at the moment, as we can see. It looks to be Conor O'Mahony. Owen Kelly's ready to take the resultant 65. His team a point behind. They're in a hurry. They want to get to the final. They want a date with Kilkenny in September. It's on the way, and it is put wide. He's missed. Owen Kelly at the other end missed as well, you may remember. And Owen Kelly of Tipperary has missed. Still Waterford lead. Haven't been in the final for a long time, and coming into the game now is Paul Flynn, and is coming on for John Mullane. Well, Paul Flynn coming on for his 44th championship match. The man has got an amazing tally of scores already to his credit. They just need a point or two from him. If he can supply it, Tipperary will have ideas of their own. The Munster champions, trailing at this stage. Still a terrific team. Been put to the pin of their colour by Waterford, who've done that repeatedly in league and championship over the last couple of seasons. This is a marvellous match, great entertainment. Shane Marr in there battling, Paul Flynn trying to take it. So too was Jamie Nagle. Kerwick waiting, taken there instead by Shane McGrath. Unable to get very much length into it because the commitment from both teams, the blocking, the hooking, is absolutely commendable. First-rate hurling. Again, they're trying to get the ball under control, and Waterford are refusing to concede. And in the end, it's Michael Breck-Walsh taking the ball away. A foul has been committed. Waterford have the free from the middle of the park, and they still have a 1 point lead, 118 to 117. 67 minutes gone, 3 to go, maybe a couple of minutes of injury time as well. Amazing match. Everything we hoped it would be.
Well, Tony Brown's down injured at the moment, maybe just take a little break, or maybe a bit of cramp, or maybe a little injury to his knee, but that'll provide a welcome break to Waterford. But we spoke in the first half, sure, about the indiscipline of Waterford giving away some silly frees, but two Tipperary players there, Seamus Cannon and Kelly, getting each other's way, and then an innocuous little flick across Michael Breck-Walsh, I think, and they give a free away in the middle of the field, and Owen Kelly has a great chance now to make it 2.
Just got a shot at Dave Bennett there. I think they were wondering whether or not to be bringing him in. We're into the last 2 minutes. Tipperary last reached a final in 2001. Waterford last reached a final in 1963. 45 years. Owen Kelly and Waterford are leading by 1. He had a big free a little while ago. This is a more central position. Can he make it this time? And the answer is definitely yes! 1-9 for Owen Kelly. The man who got 2-13 against Offaly has done it again, and Waterford have a 2-point advantage. And the referee holding up the play. There's going to be another change here. Jamie Nagle is going to be replaced, and Gary Herney is coming in. Well, the hurler and footballer. Big man, 6'4" tall. 5'9" is the height of Jamie Nagle in his socks.
Well, Gary Kearney will come in centre forward, and Michael Breck-Walsh will probably go back out midfield, and if they made that change already.
Tipperary need a goal, I think. Brendan Cummins all the way down here with the puck out towards Dark Orbit. Hasn't done as much as you'd expect. I'm just reflecting on the last 10 minutes. We had that goal by Owen Kelly after 56 minutes, and within a minute, Seamus Callanan's goal. You felt that was going to be the boost for Tipperary to go on and win the match, and they haven't done that. There's going to be 3 additional minutes, we believe.
Well, the chance, I think, that fell to Micheál Webster, that was the crucial miss. If they put that goal away right well, it could have been cut for, but 2 points might be easier to get now than a goal, Ger.
Here's Eamon Corcoran dropping it in. There's plenty of players in the square. It's not going to count. Webster is absolutely furious. Eamon Corcoran dropped it in. They were ready to celebrate. That's the Tipperary fans, but it's the Waterford fans who've got bigger, broader smiles. John Mullane can't stand it. He's been replaced in the game, but he's not a great spectator, as you can see. It's been 12 minutes since Tipperary have scored. 3 minutes of injury time are now taking place. We're into the first minute. Waterford have the ball. Jack Kennedy hand passing it back to Kevin Moran, lofting it up into the air. in there for somebody to compete for and challenge for. And Owen Kelly is saying my jersey was being pulled, but the ball's gone wide. It's a puck out for Tipperary. They need to get it down the field quickly. A little bit of afters there. Brendan Cummins pucking it out. Driving it into the half-forward line. They need the ball. Waterford need to keep them out. They're trying to do so. Here's Kerwick for Tipperary. Denied. Taken away from him. Tony Brown trying to take it up. Tony Brown holding onto it with Ken McGrath, getting it away from Waterford. They've been out of the glory scene, the All-Ireland final day, for so long. Will they be denied again? That's Benny Dunn, and Benny Dunn has put it over the bar. It's only a one-point game. Absolutely magnificent. Well, we may have Olympic heroes in Beijing, but there are heroes down there right now, playing for Waterford and for Tipperary. A one-point game. Does any team deserve to lose it? Eamon Corcoran back down. Comes here once again towards Owen McGrath. Across towards Stephen Malumpy. He's got 2 points in the match so far. Trying to nurse it forward to a colleague. Herney was there. Herney's after it. He's got it. Linking up here with Jack Kennedy. They've got a player over. Kelly on his stop to stick and it's over the bar. He was going for a goal, but he's content himself with a point. Owen Kelly of Waterford has scored a goal and 10 points out of Waterford's 1 goal and 20. More substitutions, but we have 2 minutes of injury time gone. The referee is calling back the ball. Back you come, lads, back you come. Waterford have made another change. Dan Shanahan has been taken off the Waterford team, and he has been replaced by Shane O'Sullivan, number 19.
Well, Joe, you see that tactic when it comes into extra time. You know, put on a few substitutes, it takes 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds out of the game, and you don't get that back.
Tipperary are unbeaten from January all the way through to this day, the 17th of August. Will their unbeaten record continue? They're in grave danger, 2 points adrift, and Waterford have 1 foot in the All-Ireland hurling final. It would be another Kilkenny-Waterford final, but there hasn't been one for over 40 years.
Well, a goal is needed here, but I think Brendan Cummins, the last few pucked them very long, and that was right into Waterford's three-baller, so to speak, but they need to get a goal here.
Somewhere, somehow, they need to find the space, and they need to be denied by Waterford, and Aidan Carney is going to deny them, and the whistle has gone, and Waterford have qualified for the All-Ireland hurling final under the management of Davy Fitzgerald. With so many stars everywhere and anywhere, they have beaten Tipperary, the Munster champions, by 2 points. Paul Flynn came on as a substitute. He'll be back on the day of the All-Ireland final itself. 1963 is a long, long time for Waterford to be without an All-Ireland final day place. But they're back. They've bridged the gap of 45 years. This is the team that was beaten on the first day of June by Clare in the Munster Championship. There was a change of management. Freshness was required. The great work of Justin McCarthy winning Munster titles 3 times and a National League was over, and then a new man came in with new selectors. The Waterford players felt they had it within them to produce something big and something special. Tipperary are absolutely shattered. Conor O'Mahony, Eamon Buckley here, but they made a horrible start. Typical Davy Fitzgerald, you heard Anthony say in studio during half-time. Typical Davy, he has inspired them, he has lifted them, he has brought them to an All-Ireland final. They will be outsiders to beat Kilkenny, the reigning All-Ireland champions, who are going for 3 this year when it comes to September. But who cares about September? This is about today. This is about the 17th of August. Dan Shanahan, the little baby, all the little babies, all the fans and supporters of Waterford, it's their day. They've waited such a long time for it. They've had so many heartbreaks. Remember, they have lost 5 All-Ireland hurling semi-finals, but Waterford people everywhere and anywhere will today be celebrating. But it's only a semi-final. They've now got to prepare for a final itself. What scenes, Donald?
Yeah, you can see there John Milan went up to the fans there and hit 16, and they absolutely went
wide. There's one of our
you know.
cameramen, there's Donny. He's been looking after the action and bringing you the pictures, and he's wearing his Waterford shirt. And Donny, listen, congratulations to you. You have suffered the agony of the down, but I've seen it over the years. Today's your day, and Daddy and all the other daddies have done the business. Owen Kelly with a goal and 10 points. And you think of what he's contributed so far. And all of the other stars. Waterford win. They beat Tipperary. The full-time score, Waterford 1 goal and 20 points. Tipperary 1 goal and 18. Michael.
Thanks very much indeed, Gerard Canning. I think we're going to have to make a mental note here in RT not to put Joel McGillicuddy on the cameras for the All-Ireland final. Everything will be out of focus. That was a magnificent performance from Waterford. You know, they came here the last couple of years. They tried to make this final as Munster champions. It didn't work out for them. And, well, Cyril Farrell and Anthony Daly, I don't care what anybody says they think they know about hurling. Could you predict that last May or June?
Well, it's pulsating. Like, you know, you can talk about your Olympics with Michael here again. 70 minutes, anti-century second half. Where does the time go to? It's up and down the field, level at half time. This was anyone's game. And like, look at this. Look what it means to Waterford. It's 1963 since the win. But you'd have to say, Fitzy got the thing right. Kevin Moore, you got the team wing back. Tony Brown went back to the other wing. Ken McGrath came out centre back and Prendergast went back full. And like, he brought on the subs, chance fellas in there, like, you know, young Jamie Nagle and you guys this year played very well. Up front, like, threw around the lads up front, got a few breaks, and I thought when they got the goal, I said, they're on their way. Anthony was just have to say, gee, maybe they'll get a break. Next thing, Tip go down and get a goal and say, oh, good God, like, you're going to, I thought maybe it's going to be a draw match. You know, like, Camden played great and back in centre forward. It was a brilliant game, and you'd have to, it takes two, I know Waterford will be over the moon and Tip will be disappointed, but it takes two teams to make a game like this.
You said, Anthony, during the second half, you said, you know, in fairness, Waterford need a break here at Croke Park.
Yeah, Michael, you know, it just, sometimes it's your day, I think, you know, and I don't know, we can point all the tactics and you have to have all those things right. You need a bit of luck, you need a bit of discipline, but sometimes there's a bit of magic here in the old stadium. It's a new stadium now, but it's the old stadium. It reminded me a bit of, there's no trophies given out.
The old game of hurling is the bottom line.
There's no trophies given out, of course. Brian Cody will be kind of like sitting back and watching it all, but at the same time there's a bit of magic in the air there today, and they finally 6 times in the semi-final, and you saw what it meant to Ken McGrath and Tony Brown there at the end of it.
We have to say commiserations to Tipperary, of course, but having said that, it's just simply been a fantastic day here at Croke Park for Waterford. Now, we'll be back with further analysis of this game in just a few minutes.
Long last reached an All-Ireland final.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic for them, for the players, management, and particularly their supporters, I suppose, who've been through so much with this bunch of players. I was thinking there earlier, I'm about 10 or 11 years up here in the Sunday game, and I've seen it all with this Waterford team. There are 3 great Munster Championship wins, they're a great National League win, and last year everyone expected them to beat Limerick and get into the final. It didn't happen for them, and now this year, against the odds, against all the odds, against a lot of pundits' opinion, including my own, they've gone and done what looked impossible for them back a couple of months ago when Clare bet them. They've reached that Ireland final, and they're there now where they haven't been since 1963, and what an occasion to look forward to for everyone in Waterford.
Declan, on Sunday evening, the 1st of June, after that defeat by Clare, could you see Waterford in an All-Ireland hurling final after that?
No, definitely not after that match. You know, they struggled big time in the early rounds, but we kind of wondered how did judges their run this year, but they seem to have timed it perfectly, and they're really coming into the final with a bit of momentum, and they're going into the final in a perfect situation. Again, people won't be giving them much of a chance against Kilkenny, but you know, they've nothing to lose now. They're in the final. It's great for all the likes of Tony Brown and Ken McGrath, and these guys have eventually get their, you know, to play on the big showpiece, and they'll be going, like, they were really well up for today, and I'm sure they will be again for the final.
Anthony, you didn't have much faith in your old colleague Davy. You tipped Tipperary to win.
Well, I suppose I went for Tip on the basis of the form all year, Pat, and I would always have a bit of a suspicion that Davy would have his team well prepared, and I think we said that, you know. I think if you look at it overall, you have to give a bit of credit, a lot of credit to the players as well. I mean, they weren't the most popular people the week after the Clare match when they decided to maybe oust Justin McCarthy and look for a fresh voice, and maybe some of them realised it was coming up to their last chance of getting to an All-Ireland final or maybe winning All-Ireland, and they felt that this wasn't going to be the year if things stayed the same, even though, you know, Justin had done great work with them. But they made a stand, they stood over it, they got in the guy they wanted, and they seem to have given him everything, and they've gotten their rewards today. Like,
Michael, you've picked out a piece and you call it Waterford Hunger. They really did start off flying, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they laid out their style from the start of the game. You know, everyone said, you know, if Tip stayed with them and this, that and the other, and Tip were favourite, but Waterford came out And from the very start, Owen Kelly, I suppose, who's been their main man all year with the scores, you can just see straight away the intent there with the block down. And then the big thing today was the change in the half-back line. You know, Ken McGrath back centre-back, Tony Brown on the wing, and Kevin Moran in, and three of them had fantastic games. But here's McGrath in the first couple of minutes saying, here, I'm the boss, I'm back. And look at the intelligence of that ball inside. You know, maybe Ken has been criticised before for some of the high balls in, but straight in. And you can see in John Milan's face there, the determination, and straight over the bar. And they got the perfect start that they wanted. And here again, you know, this is obviously, you know, something they've been working on is the tackling their forward line. And John Milan, again, brilliant block down, and the ball just breaks here to Stephen Lumphy, who, again, upped his game probably 100% again today from earlier in the year. But they laid out their stall in the first few minutes. They went 6 points to no score up after 5 or 6 minutes. And in the end, Tip couldn't cut that back. They got back level, but took a lot out of them. And ultimately, that start, you know, paved the way for the great win.
Declan, Tipperary wasted a lot of chances today. Had that anything to do with the fact that they had a 5-week layoff?
Yeah, we kind of wondered how they judged the 5-week layoff. We know Kilkenny are past masters at it, but you know, it's kind of new ground for this Tipperary team. And you know, that Corbett in the Munster Championship, I'm sure would have buried that. Again, it was at a vital time. He's through on goal. Again, a great run from Conor O'Mahony here. And again, you know, a little bit of indecisiveness, rustiness. Micheál Webster here. You know, again, he should have buried that really, and that would have been there was a point in at that stage, and that would have really allowed them to go on and win the game, I feel.
They're on then, Pat, as well, like a bit of madness crept into their game, and what we'd call, maybe the lads talking about it, we call them lotto shots, you know. Whereas, you know, players inside, we saw Shane Maher, who had a brilliant game, to be fair to him. You know, mad, you can see Seamus Callan screaming, all on my own in the 21 inside. And again, Pat Kerwick, who also did well when he came in and made a contribution. But that, like, if they go over, that's great. But, you know, if you're Owen Kelly inside and you're crying out for the ball, Pat, that's killing you.
Micheál Webster, when he came on in particular, he looked dangerous enough, but he was isolated one-on-one. He was spending months in training trying to create that over extra man, and he was in there on his own, big man, and no ball played.
Liam Sheedy would have drilled that into him in training, but then, you know, 15 minutes to go on the Ireland semi-final, they have to think for themselves, and they have to remember the stuff they're told, and sometimes that goes out the window with them. Like, that's what happens.
They're a fairly young team as well. They're still learning, right, you know, in a lot of areas, and I think their Achilles heel kind of came back to haunt them as well. Their half-forward line today, they didn't win enough ball, and as I say, like, you have to use. I thought they learned from the Cork match, and they seemed to have, but when the pressure came on again today, they did revert back. But
lads, they only played 2 competitive matches since they won the league. That's back in April. 4 months with 2 competitive matches. Hard to keep up the edge, isn't it?
Hard to keep up the edge, and you'd say maybe that Waterford. I think the big thing, Pat, I think Davy Fitz took a chance when he took over. The general feeling was they weren't in great physical shape. I think he took a chance, with all due respect to my Offaly colleague and my Wexford colleague, that they might be good enough to get over those games. Now, they were very lucky to get over those games, but I think they trained straight through, in that, you know what I mean, that they train maybe the Tuesday and Thursday as hard as they would when you'd be taking a week off, to get themselves ready for maybe today, and I think that really stood to them today.
Now listen, lads, a lot of viewers texted and emailed in for us to have for the analysts here to have a look at 2 incidents, one involving Lark Corbett and the other involving John Milan. Anthony, take it away.
Well, the first one, it's a ball that breaks out to the side. Owen Murphy's going down over it. Now, it looks bad enough from there, but you know, last week, Pat, we were crediting Richie Power with driving Shane O'Neill out over the sideline with his shoulder and saying that was great work rate. Larry Corbett comes at full belt. We know how fast he is. He's coming from a distance back. Owen Murphy senses the danger of the last second, pulls himself back. Now, he does catch him across the face.
So your call?
With his shoulder. I think slightly, a little bit reckless maybe, but I think a yellow card was the right decision.
John Milan's incident, lads?
Yeah, I think, you know, it was a little bit reckless. Well, it was a good bit reckless, to be honest, because the ball is there, but, you know, that's 2 foot over the ball, and, you know, there's sort of aspects of John's play. He doesn't need to get involved in that kind of thing. I know you have to be hard and fair, like, and get involved and really fight for your ball, but that kind of pull is a little bit
I think
a little bit reckless, Michael?
Yeah, well, it certainly was, but I think what saved him there was Conor O'Brien's reaction. He didn't go down, you know, he took the belt across the knee, fair old belt, but if he had gone down in a heap there and there was more fuss made about it, John Milan could have been in trouble there. I don't think he was that, you know, he pulled, you know, high, 2 foot over the ball. You can't do that. And the other incident, again, Lark Corbett coming flying in, you know, mistimed as well. So, you know, I think yellow cards were probably enough for them on the day, but, you know, they want to be careful with tackles like that. And John Milan, as Declan said, he's playing so well, 3 points a game in every game this year, and there's no point, you know, a moment of madness could have cost him his place in the Ireland final.
OK, so Waterford ended Tipperary's unbeaten run, and in doing so, finally reached their holy grail. As you'd expect, the emotional gauge was wide-ranging after the intensity of battle.
After losing 5 in the last 10 years, unbelievable feeling when the whistle went, and for once we were on the right side of it in the semi-final. As I said, it's a brilliant feeling. Other years we probably would have might have folded them, but after Tip got a goal straight after us, we kept our composure and kept sticking to the plan. Lads didn't panic and made the right moves and done the right things with the ball, and thankfully we're in the final for the first time in, was it 45 years?
We knew coming up today it was probably going to be a puck of a ball either way. You know, disappointed with the way we started. You know, they came at us in waves and we gave them a 6 points to 1 lead. And some credit to Waterford, they didn't let us away. And you know, we had a chance of a goal. Great save by Clinton, and lucky not to get the rebound in. And small little things could have got us over the line. But you know what, that's hurling. Some days you get over the line, some days you don't.
Well, the most important thing I asked them for one thing is that was from start to finish, to just focus on the next ball, and I think that's the most important thing. I told them that there was things going to go against them today, and they would rattle them, and the most important thing was to hang in there, and they did.
Very disappointed after the game. Looking back now, I suppose it's just shortly after the game, maybe 1 or 2 chances we didn't take, but I think we just couldn't maybe pull clear 3 or 4 points when we got 1 or 2 ahead of Waterford, and in fairness to them, they fought to the bitter end, and we're just very disappointed now, and I suppose wish Waterford all the best in the final.
A word on Davy Fitz finally.
I suppose he brought in unbelievable passion, great professionalism, his enthusiasm is unbelievable. He played at that and he trains at that, and the lads have great respect for him, and I suppose he just a bit of freshness there, and fellas don't want to lose anymore, and we're just going for victory every game.
Yeah, and well done to Ken McGrath and to the boys as well. But there may be some Tipperary fans at home wondering were they hard done by today. They did score that goal in the second half, which was disallowed, and of course there were only 2 points in it in the end. But Declan Ruth may be able to shed some light on that. Declan, you've looked into this. What are your thoughts on the goal?
Yeah, I think the referee made a good call on this. I suppose the thing is there is a little bit of inconsistency throughout games, not just this call now, but sometimes they're given, sometimes they're not. But I suppose we can categorically state that the guy was in the square. I think Pat Burke was in behind, as you can see here on the analysis, and I think Pat Kerway comes in as well, so he's in the square before the ball lands. And as I said, sometimes they're given, sometimes they're not, but he got it right on this call, so you can't really argue with it. But it was a vital call because there was only a point in it at that stage, or 2 points, and again could have won the game.
It's the right decision from the referee, and it shouldn't have been a goal.
No, it shouldn't have been a goal.
Okay, still some worries for Waterford. We were listening to David Fitzgerald earlier talking about the fact that they didn't stick to the game plan, and he's spoken about that a few times since he's taken over as manager, and you agree that this is quite a bit of a problem?
Yeah, well, I think Davy has come onto the scene, and he's just, like, Waterford were obviously they're a fantastic team, but it just needed that little bit of fine-tune. I think that's what he's instilled, playing in the little cute ball maybe instead of having the lotto shot, as Anthony said, But their use of space was fantastic in the first half. Got him off to a flyer of a start. So Owen Kelly isolated here. Now I know he didn't score on this occasion, but it did create the space, and they scored plenty of points from here. See Michael Walsh hitting a superb ball over into the far side where Jack Kennedy got onto it and slotted over a brilliant point. But if you've lads in space and they're able to get that space to pop it over, whereas if it's in a bunch you're not going to get that. You see here John Milan grabbing a fantastic sideline. If we highlight and we mark John here, there's acres of space for John to run into there, or else even to pop a little low ball in front of Owen Kelly. But when you have space, when you have pace and accuracy to burn like John Milan, why not just do what he does here and pop it over the bar? But they created enormous problems for Tipperary, and before they knew where they were 6 or 7 points down, and it set the platform for a great victory for them.
Why didn't they stick to it though?
Well, again, it's probably something that they're not used to, and they're only still trying to learn it. And another few weeks now, and they'll be working on the training field, but they'll have to do it. I mean, that's obviously, we've talked about maybe how to beat Kilkenny. That kind of play will go a long way to try and build beating them, but they're masters at closing down that space. So it's going to be a battle of wills, and if they're going to do it, they'll have to make sure and play to that game plan for a lot longer than they did today.
So what is Davy to do to make sure that they keep doing it? I mean, obviously they're training in it. This is what they're doing all the time, every week. How does he make sure that they don't get nervous and they don't stop doing it?
Yeah, well, it's easy to sort of sit up here and say, well, why don't you just do it? Because Kilkenny will be imposing their will, and they'll be dropping guys back into that space. And I know from playing against them that they'll be shouting at their half-backs and their midfield to crowd out their own half, and they won't allow Waterford that space, but they'll have to be disciplined, maybe leaving Owen Kelly and John Milan in there like that. I mean, they have massive amounts of pace, so I think if they try and isolate those guys into the full forward line and get quick ball and low ball into them, they can do an awful lot of damage.
Okay, neck in the line, can they do it?
I still, at this stage, I mean, you'd have to put your money on Kilkenny, but there's definitely a lot of signs there. I mean, in Tipperary, we were all giving their praises today, or so far this year, and Waterford beat them, so you definitely have a chance if they can do more of that for longer.
Okay, Pat, Declan's given them a chance.
Anthony, will that game plan work against Kilkenny?
Well, it's probably going to be well flagged up now, Pat, pull out, a couple of players, leave Owen Kelly in the edge of the square, leave the space for Owen McGrath and John Mullane to run into, and they have that sort of pace. Like, the thing is about that, like we've seen over the years, Galway often played a two-man full forward line, and it worked in the semi-final, it flopped in the final. So probably have to come up with something a bit fresh, because the thing with Kilkenny is they probably play it most ways you like. If you want to play it tough for them, they're plenty tough enough, and they've plenty of hurlers around the field. We saw the last day, tried to call Naughton trying to run Jackie Tyrrell. Jackie Tyrrell did all the hurling when he came out the field and set up way more attacks for Kilkenny. So, he'll have to come up with something a bit fresh.
I don't think it's so much a game plan as a style of hurling. Like you take Ken McGrath, centre back, Tony Brown, great players. It's just when you get the ball, simple ball. Get it in, move it in, keep it in play. Don't go for stupid scores, shooting from impossible angles. They're things we've seen over the years that cost you matches. Kilkenny don't do it. You never see Kilkenny corner forward on the end line going for a score. It's back across the 21. And that's what Davy fits it. It's cleverness in your hurling, use to the ball, no stupid frees. Things like that are basics that we all have been taught since under 14. But it's try to do that under pressure on the big day.
In fairness to them, Michael, as well, they learned at half-time, Pat, because they had given away the stupid frees at half-time and had started ballooning the ball. And he set them down nice and calmly at half-time. And obviously, a lot of people speculating would he be gone mad in the dressing room. It wasn't. There was calmness in there.
Oh, listen, lads, it's going to be their first taste of an All-Ireland final. Now, there's a lot of pressure. How are they going to react? How are they going to cope? Now, in both of your first All-Ireland finals, 94 and 95, you were successful. So, your advice?
Well, thinking back to 95, Pat, it was a bit different for us in that we hadn't been beaten in 5 semi-finals and hadn't been almost there. We hadn't come out of Munster, and we just won Munster, and that was the great achievement on its own, and we kind of carried on from that, and we sort of soft the hype, if you like. I think we enjoyed it and got on with it. Now, I think Davy has to get these guys in under the hype. I'd nearly put him on a plane about 5 days before and bring him off to Scotland or something and get him away from it, because it'll be, the only one that'll really enjoy the hype is Ken McGrath and his sports shop, because that'll fly for the next few weeks.
How do they avoid the hype, Michael?
It's very difficult to avoid it. Sometimes you have to embrace it, as Anthony says. I think in 94 and 95 we actually didn't. We got very nervous before both finals. We got away with it in 94 with a late finish against Limerick, and Clare beat us in 95. It was only 98 later on in my career that you got to enjoy the whole occasion. And even from a media point of view, these media bans, I think they should embrace that, bring them in. If you can't handle a few lads asking a few questions a week before an Ireland, you've no chance of handling 80,000 and the Artane Boys band and before the match and all that.
Plus they'll be underdogs.
Yeah,
they'll be huge underdogs, so that's a good
I think
advantage.
enjoy it. And they've huge experience. They've won Munsters, they've won National Leagues. Use that experience to the benefit, because Kilkenny will cruise through this. There's no bother to them to handle it.
OK, lads, man of the match time. Anthony, contenders?
Contenders from Waterford, I suppose, who the winners. Kevin Moran, very good after bringing him back in. Ken McGrath, Tony Brown, fantastic to see him get into that final. Obviously Owen Kelly up front. For Tip, Conor Mahoney immense. Shane Maher on the wing, brilliant. And that man Shane McGrath, very unlucky not to be playing the All-Ireland final. What a season, what a game again today.
So Michael, who did he choose as man of the match?
At the end we went for Owen Kelly, who has
Which Owen Kelly?
Owen Kelly Owen Kelly from Waterford today. Owen Kelly from Tipperary has got his share of them over the years as well. But he's had a fantastic game. He laid out his stall from the very start with with a great block down, and then he proceeded to score 1-2 from play, 8 points from frees. A great flick. That would have been a brilliant goal first time. But I think what people forget sometimes is the free taker is under enormous pressure, and he scored 8 out of 9 or something like that today. But he's had a fantastic season. He missed the match against Clare, and since he's come back, 2-13 against Offaly, I think about 1-9 against Wexford and 1-10 again today. That's fantastic form, and he's in the form of his life, and well done to Owen.
OK, well, let's hear from Owen Kelly, the GA hurling man of the match.
Owen Kelly, congratulations, the GAA Championship Man of the Match for this semi-final. Dara Hennessy, Marketing Manager of RT, is going to present you with your prize. Dara, if you do the honours.
Congratulations, well played.
Well, Owen, 110 will get you that kind of an award. You've come from the dressing room. What's the feeling like inside?
It's unbelievable, something we've never witnessed before, but I suppose just enjoy tonight, and we'll have to go back to the drawing board for the All-Ireland. Kilkenny are a great team and they're looking unbeatable at the moment, but we're going to the All-Ireland final. We haven't done it in I don't know how long. There's no point in going there if you don't perform, so we'll just have to put our heads down tomorrow and work hard and get back working hard for the big show, I suppose they call it.
And congrats to Owen, well deserving of the Man of the Match award. Kilkenny reached the minor final last week when they beat Tipperary. This afternoon, Cork and Galway contested the other semi-final. And Joanne watched that game for us.
The first half of this semi-final was pulsating from the start, with nothing to separate the sides. Daniel Roach got Cork off the mark in the 3rd minute. At no stage did more than a single point come between these two teams in the opening 35 minutes. They were level 10 times. Bernard Burke arguably getting the pick of Galway's efforts. So, with the game tied at 8 points all at the break, the question was, could anybody grab the big break that could make the big difference? But after 6 minutes, that question was nearly answered by David Glennon. Aaron McCarthy with a fine save. 12 minutes into the second half and Galway opened up a 2-point lead for the first time in the game. Richie Cummins the man responsible. And it was the same player who put the tribesmen in a position of real control 2 minutes later, stealing the ball from William Egan, charging towards goal and producing a cool finish. Galway were now 6 points ahead. Cummins brought his own personal tally to 1-5 soon after, before Bernard Burke came up with one of the best scores of the game to increase the advantage to 7. But this Cork side weren't done, and substitute Luke Farrell made a significant contribution as they gradually reduced the deficit. James Colin tried his luck, but Fergal Flannery was alert. Wasn't clear just yet. Roach didn't fare much better. Their hopes of a comeback weren't helped by the second booking and subsequent sending off of William Egan late on. Galway probably had this one wrapped up anyway. And Niall Quinn's third point of the game was its last, as Matty Murphy's Galway go through to a final showdown with Kilkenny, 118 to 17 points.
Yeah, I just don't think we came up to blocks really. As I say, our worst performance of the year. And I know it's a cliche, but they got the goal won the game from really when it came. We never looked like idiot back. We just didn't play well. Bottom line.
There's very little wrong with Galway hurling. I went to an under 14 challenge between Galway and Clare yesterday evening, and again we have a way above average under 14 team. Our under 16 team played Waterford yesterday and beat them as well. So there's nothing wrong with what's happening in Galway hurling.
Michael, there's nothing wrong with Galway hurling on the basis of that performance, any from the minors?
Well, no, not at underage level anyway, but they've produced minors year in, year out, and Galway have done, they have so many players coming through, but it's to get them onto the next level. But in today's match, nothing in the game for so long, score for score, right throughout the first half, but in the end, Galway forwards won it for them. They scored 113 from play up front, Cummins 1-5, great back up in the middle of the field, and they were really lethal, great pace, and the way they hurled there, it's about then, as I said, transferring that onto the senior stage, and you need so much more than you need physical size and strength and everything else, but that's a good start, and I'd expect a very close final between them and Kilkenny.
Cyril Farrell today said it was the shot in the arm, the injection that Galway hurling needed, that victory of the minors.
Yeah, well, the only thing about that, Pat, is they've been having that regularly. Like, their minors have done very well over the last 5-6 years, and there's a massive match-up coming in their under-21s with Kilkenny, and they beat Kilkenny in that minor 3 years ago, so you have the likes of Joe Canning to play in that. So there's an awful lot of talent in Galway. It's about harnessing it. And in fairness to Matty Murphy, he has some record with minor teams there, and year in, year out, he's producing top-class teams.
So the big question, Declan, we'll give it to you. Can they beat Kilkenny, who looked good last week against Tipperary?
Yeah, well, Galway, that second game they've got out under their belts today will have definitely brought them on an awful lot, but I think Kilkenny are improving. Their level of improvement is greater from what I can see. I just don't think Galway have enough to beat them, judging on what I seen last Sunday against Tipperary. They took them apart, really. OK, so it's Galway who'll face Kilkenny in the final on the 7th of September. And at senior level, Waterford, despite the odds, have earned a place in the All-Ireland hurling final for the first time in 45 years. We'll be looking ahead to that big day in a few weeks here on the Sunday game. But for tonight, my thanks to Declan, Michael and Anthony. Right now, we have a short break to take, but afterwards, we'll be reviewing yesterday's big game in Croke Park.